Spider-Man lives on the East Coast, but does he look better on the West? Who wore it better, but like with Marvel theme parks? Does Disneyland do Marvel better, even though they can't say it? Hey everybody, it's Chris for AllEars.net. It's time for another bi-coastal East versus West Coast battle throwdown showdown, this time with Marvel. Disneyland versus Universal. As always, the results of this debate come straight from AllEars.net readers and social media followers. You may not know it, but there are boatloads of legal issues that have led to two different versions of Marvel lands from the two theme park giants, and our readers and cast members have some pretty big thoughts about which land is the best. For the sake of competition, we're breaking down these Marvel lands into three key categories: theming, food, and attractions. But before we get started, we'll let Barrister Quincy give you a very quick review of the legal issues.
So before Disney owned Marvel, Universal bought the theme park rights to Marvel. There were some stipulations though. When Universal bought the rights to Marvel, it was with the cause that to keep the rights, they had to use the properties actively in a theme park, and that it was divided by the Mississippi River. So if they use Spider-Man on this side of the Mississippi River, then they keep the rights to Spider-Man on this side of the Mississippi River, which happened along with a lot of other Marvel properties. There is Superhero Landing, or Superhero Island, in Universal Islands of Adventure, and it has a ton of superheroes represented that Disney now can't use because they're used there. You know who's not there? Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's why we're getting a Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride in Disney World. On the other side of the Mississippi, Universal didn't use the rights at all. Universal Hollywood does not have a Marvel land. None of the Avengers were touched. So Universal did effectively lose those rights to Marvel when Disney bought Marvel. So now Disney owns the theme park rights to Marvel, but only the ones either west of the Mississippi or east of the Mississippi that were not used in Universal Orlando. It's super confusing, but that's the situation. And there's no time limit on those rights for Universal, so basically a deal would have to be struck. As far as we know, no deal is in the works. But that is why Spider-Man can't come to Disney World right now.
First up, Universal Orlando's Islands of Adventure. In Universal Orlando's Islands of Adventure Park, you'll find a land of Marvel superheroes, aptly named Marvel Superhero Island. This area opened in 1999, which is 10 years before Disney bought Marvel in 2009. The theming and design of this area is done in comic book style, with lots of specific angles and character cutouts to give the effect. In this land, you can meet the characters of Spider-Man, Captain America, Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, Rogue, Doctor Doom, and Green Goblin.
Marvel Superhero Island, when you walk in, it definitely has more of that comics feel to it. The art on the walls is the comic book Avengers. There's comic panels everywhere. It's supposed to look like you're walking into the comics. And there are a lot of spots where they do a really good job with that. Most notably, the Many Adventures of Spider-Man ride. The queue for that ride is you're I'm a comic book character now. Call me 2D. Because I live in a comic now. Look at this. 3D? Can't happen anymore. I'm 2D. 2D only.
I just have to ask, are we going to be talking about the Spider-Man costume at Universal? I don't know if we could throw a picture up, but it's a tight costume. Yes, it is a very tight costume. It's an interesting looking Spider-Man in Universal.
You'll find all quick service dining in Marvel Superhero Island, including Cafe 4, which serves pizza and Italian type foods, and Captain America Diner, where you can get cheeseburgers, chicken fingers, chicken sandwiches, salads, and more. It's mostly your typical American theme park food.
The food in Marvel Island at Universal is not great. And it pains me to say that because I do think Universal has made great strides in making their food better. But here in this particular land, it's very typical theme park food. It's like pizza, popcorn, corn dogs. Now, one thing I will say is cool about this, and it hasn't returned yet, so it doesn't really get points in its favor, is they do a character dining experience with the Marvel heroes at the main restaurant there, but unfortunately it's not back yet. And I do think that's a cool experience if you've got little ones or adults who want to have dinner with Captain Marvel and Wolverine. You can do that in this land. You can't do that at Disneyland.
The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is a 3D motion-based dark ride that combines 3D film, sound effects, and ride movements for a journey through New York City, with Spider-Man battling the Sinister Syndicate. One of the best things about this ride is the immersive queue, which takes guests through the Daily Bugle.
Reviewer Magic W. Mads said, "I like this ride okay, but I can't get over how sick it makes me. The ride itself is really cool actually, but I can't enjoy it because of the back and forth of the 3D in real life. I think the concept is really neat and they did a great job with theming. I love to walk through the queue."
The Incredible Hulk Coaster is a launched roller coaster based on the character of the Hulk, and the launch takes riders up to 40 miles per hour in about 2 seconds, reaching a maximum speed of 67 miles per hour. There are 7 different inversions that take place during the ride, which lasts approximately 2 minutes. Although the ride originally told the story of Dr. Bruce Banner in his laboratory, it was refurbished in 2015 with a new story about General Thaddeus Ross using gamma ray technology on test subjects.
Reviewer Obbs Myers said, "Love this ride. The initial surprise launch of the ride is one of the most fun things I've ever experienced. It's a great coaster and a great way to start your Islands of Adventure day."
Hulk is for sure the best of the attractions in Universal Superhero Island. It's a very intense roller coaster. It's got 7 inversions. It has a quick takeoff, an awesome soundtrack. It is just like a very intense and awesome roller coaster. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is probably the next best attraction there. It makes me nauseous, unfortunately, because of the use of simulators, but it's part simulator and part physical sets, and you're moving through with this very interesting vehicle that they created to start this attraction. And it's comic book Spider-Man, and it's in 3D, so you're gonna run into like Green Goblin and a lot of Venom and like a lot of comic book villains as you help out Spider-Man.
Dr. Doom's Fearfall is a space shot ride based on the Fantastic Four villain Dr. Doom. This ride takes guests through a ride queue of Dr. Doom's laboratory, and the ride itself launches riders up and down a few times before returning to the ground.
Dr. Doom's Fearfall, that ride is so funny to me because it's called Dr. Doom's Fearfall, but it's not even really a drop zone. Which, like, I was super scared of it because I fear falling. I will ride them, but I don't like them. I'm brave. I'll ride it. So I get on Dr. Doom's Fearfall, and it shoots you up. And I was like, ah! We're going up really high, really fast. And then you kind of just slowly come down. Fearfall is a misnomer because really it's like a fear fly up, and then it's like a normal elevator ride down. I liked it because it gave me a really good view of the theme park and it wasn't scary, but like, why did they call it that?
Storm Force Accelatron it's basically a teacup ride based on the X-Men with a Storm and Professor Xavier teaming up to battle Magneto. Guests board circular vehicles that can be spun, pretty much like the classic Mad Tea Party.
While the rides at Superhero Island are not my personal favorites in all of Universal, I do find them very fun. Especially, I think that the Hulk coaster is really an intense, wonderful roller coaster. So for any thrill seekers, it's a must-do. And the Spider-Man ride is actually very fun. It's a little more cheesy. It is very much the Spider-Man of the comic books, but overall, it is a very fun ride system.
Let's talk the pros. The Incredible Hulk Coaster is a thrilling roller coaster. They went for a specific look here, and it works. Plus, you can see characters here that Disney isn't allowed to use. Well, yet. The cons, there's nothing special about the food. There are 2 great rides and 2 kinda meh rides, and the costumes could be better. We're about to jet to the West Coast, but before we do, be sure to head over to All Ears socials on Facebook and Instagram for more Disney World throwdowns, and AllEars.net to leave your reviews for everything Disney parks related, hotels, restaurants, rides, superhero costumes, and more. It's all up to you to change this list right now by leaving your own review, and who knows, your opinion may be the tiebreaker in a future episode. Next up, Disney California Adventure. Avengers Campus opened in Disney California Adventure in 2021, and it's set in a Marvel theme park universe where the blip never happened. And you can still see characters who have since died in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This campus is located on the grounds of Stark Industries and Strategic Scientific Reserve. A Bug's Land was squashed like an unwanted anthill to make way for this new land. Even though Disney can't use the word Marvel in any branding due to a 1994 contract with Universal Parks and Resorts, you can still meet a very diverse group of 26 different Marvel characters.
So yes, once again, Disney isn't allowed to use that Marvel name in any Avengers Campus branding, which is fine. They can use the word Avengers, which I think gets the point across to a lot of people. But it's definitely, I'm sure that they have not had fun sort of like tap dancing around those rights deals.
So there is no denying that Superhero Island and Avengers Campus look incredibly different. From the layout to the rides, everything. A big difference also comes in the costuming, because when we do a side-by-side comparison here, the costumes at Avengers Campus look better. They really do.
Food in Avengers Campus is all quick service, and there are 3 different locations to choose from. The Pym Test Kitchen serves both small and big foods thanks to the technology of Pym particles, and the Pym Tasting Lab is the same idea as the kitchen, but with drinks. Shawarma Palace serves chicken shawarma with garlic spread or impossible plant-based falafel, inspired by the first Avengers film. And Terran Treats serves churro spirals and cosmic orbs if you're looking for something sweet.
The food in Avengers Campus is way better than the food at Universal. There are some very delicious options. You've got Pym Test Kitchen. My favorite thing there is the buffalo chicken loaded pretzel. Make sure you get the beer cheese on the side. They also have Pym Tasting Lab, which is the bar attached to Pym Test Kitchen. They have the coolest thing for the beers. They fill from the bottom up, and you're like, hey Pym, are you a wizard? How did that happen? Did Dr. Strange help you? Magic. But the best thing to eat in Avengers Campus is the shawarma from the Shawarma Palace, wonderfully marinated and flavored chicken, and this like garlic tzatziki sauce wrapped in a warm pita. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's one of my favorite things to eat like in a Disney park, and it is awesome.
Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is an accelerated drop tower dark ride that was refurbished from Tower of Terror. It features 6 different drop sequences synchronized to different music and scenes featuring the Guardians of the Galaxy characters.
Because of the way everything is laid out and themed, I think you can maybe get away with doing something like the Hulk coaster as part of Avengers Campus. You would not be able to get away with putting Guardians Mission Breakout over at Superhero Island. Yeah, it just wouldn't work.
An anonymous reviewer said, when this ride was Tower of Terror, I did not like it at all. Once it changed to Guardians, I decided to give it a whirl and am so glad I did. The music and changing video vignettes make this ride much more fun than Tower of Terror. Love this ride.
Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, is an interactive screen ride in which guests partner with the Worldwide Engineering Brigade, Web, and Spider-Man to board the Web Slinger vehicle and capture spider bots. This ride is a blend of physical sets and screens, and there's even an option to purchase an add-on device to enhance the ride experience.
While I do admit that The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is a very good attraction, it's very fun, I definitely like Web Slingers more. Not only does it not make me nauseous, but I'm really competitive. And so I like the fact that it's a game and that you're slinging those webs with Spider-Man and trying to help. And it's fun to ride it over and over again because you can always try and improve your score. You can also buy little things to help improve your score. And yeah, Alan Duckfist and I did, because we're all children, but we have money so we can buy toys to go on Disney rides and do better at them.
Pete G said, it's like Toy Story Mania on steroids. Even the pre-show resolution was fantastic, not to mention the game itself was just a ton of fun. Can't wait to do it again.
There's also a number of attractions in Avengers Campus, including the Ancient Sanctum, where you can encounter Doctor Strange. There are a number of character interactions and the amazing Spider-Man animatronic show, which features an incredible stunt-tronic swinging over the Web Slingers ride building. And you can even dance with Groot and Star-Lord at the Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Dance-Off.
You know what's cool about Avengers Campus? Stuntronic. There's a robot, Spider-Man, that launches into the air and then does stunts. What? That's so cool. They basically built a robot that has like everything it needs to be able to do stunts just like a human person flying through the air would. I wouldn't fly through the air at that speed. It would be scary. But Spider-Man can every day, multiple times, because he's a robot.
The pros, you can meet 26 different Marvel characters here. Both rides are fun and well done, and the food is themed well and also delicious. The cons, I kind of wish there was a roller coaster. Disney can't use Marvel in any branding, so it's kind of missing that, and Avengers Campus is on the small side. Hey, before we reveal the winner, give us a like and click that thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, click on that subscribe button. And when you subscribe, be sure to ding that notification bell so you get an instant notification anytime we post a new video. And if you really want to be part of the fun, be sure to follow us on social media at AllEars.net. Got it? Good. On we go. So when it comes to Marvel lands, both Disneyland and Universal have pretty different perspectives. According to our readers and social media followers, the winner of the Marvel Land debate is Avengers Campus. You can start your comment war now, but play nice. Don't go all Star Cruiser on me. This is Chris for AllEars.net. See you next time.